Well, that went better than I thought. Um, if you didn't see the game or hear about it, we beat Iowa State 35 to 10, which is better than the I think it was 34-21 I predicted. First off, the offense looked spectacular. We didn't have to punt the ball. We didn't turn it over except for the easy Wachiku fumble, which a lot of people debated in the stadium. It looked like a fumble, but if we don't turn over that ball, it's 42-10, which is still a positive, but 35-10 is just as good. Jerrod Johnson looked great, threw the ball well, ran pretty well, forced a couple of passes, but overall played pretty well. The running game for the second straight week was fantastic. Jerrod ran the ball very well. Kristen Michael and Cyrus Gray both ran very well. Even Jamie McCoy broke a big run, which I thought was surprising. Iowa State had a low-ranked defense for yardage, but I thought they would show up a little bit more than they did. Jeff Fuller looked good. Like I said, Izuwachiku looked pretty good. Howard Morrow hurt his ankle early in the game, came back, made a couple of nice catches. He was a solid contributor. Wasn't really a huge part of it, but he did help out. And overall, the offense looked good. The offensive line for another week looked amazing. And this was the one big problem I had with this team, was that the offensive line was absolutely atrocious earlier in the year. But all of a sudden, now this team is showing up, or at least the offensive line is. They're pushing around this defensive line. Well, they pushed around Texas Tech. They pushed around Iowa State on the defensive side. And really, that's what we need to have happen against Texas if we want any shot at winning. I know a lot of Aggies fans were saying we have a shot to beat Texas when we were 3-0. But now that we beat Tech and now that we beat Iowa State reasonably convincingly, now you might see me say we have a shot, but only if the offensive line plays as well as it did. Defensively was a little bit different. I wasn't that impressed with the defense, actually, although they only gave up 10 points. It was a bend, don't break mentality, which is fine when you're playing Iowa State, which is fine when you're playing UAB, Utah State, New Mexico, and you can hold them inside the red zone. When you're playing Colt McCoy in Texas, when you're playing even Landry Jones in Oklahoma, it's going to be a completely different story. Bend, don't break doesn't work against good teams unless you can outscore them like we did with Tech. Pass rush looked good. I was really impressed with Von Miller, Kyle Mangan. Both of them did a very good job. Garrick Williams forced a fumble. I was happy about that. But really, the main player for the defensive side was Kyle Mangan, I thought. Made a couple of big stops, was huge on the pass rush. And really, if he were a little bit heavier, he would be a force, I think, in the Big 12. He's 215, 220 pounds now. If he could put on another 10, 15 pounds and keep that athleticism, he could be a stud in the Big 12. He's only a redshirt freshman. And I think he's been playing very well all year against every team he's played. But, we're just going to have to see how he does against Oklahoma and Texas. The secondary was all right. Got a couple of interceptions, and I was happy about that. Gave up a few too many yards for my taste, but the passing defense was still solid. We saw Jerome Tiller. We didn't see Austin Arnaud, which was definitely a benefit for us because Tiller was not as good at throwing the ball as I thought he was going to be. Tiller was kind of erratic. He could hit the slant pass and he could hit the bubble screen, but other than that, he really didn't have the best day for a quarterback. But the talent is there, and for a redshirt freshman, absolutely. Iowa State fans, you have something to look forward to in Jerome Tiller. He's a good athlete, has a big arm, just doesn't know where it's going yet. He's kind of like Jerrod Johnson in that way. It's something to look forward to. Iowa State fans, the defense was ragged, but the offense was decent. The running game was pretty good. Austin Arnaud. Why do I keep wanting to say that kid's name? Probably because he beat us senseless last year. Jerome Tiller could run the ball well, was streaky throwing the ball. But overall, it wasn't a horrible game. for Iowa State, turning the ball over, notwithstanding. It was just a very good performance by A&M. Next week, well, this Saturday actually, we go to Colorado. We play the Buffs, who are 2-6, I want to say. And I'm scared about this game, honestly. You know, Colorado has defensive talent. They have some offensive talent. I don't want to say they're a big juggernaut offense or anything, but the defense is solid, and that's what scares me. Because if they can keep us off the board, they have a shot to win the game. Our defense isn't that great, and you know, if Colorado can put up some points, this might be an interesting ball game. Anyways, 35-10, very good victory. Looking forward to this weekend at Colorado and maybe next week at Oklahoma. But we got to get through Colorado first. So, thanks and gig 'em, guys. Next week, we go to Boulder. Beat the hell out of Colorado.